the counterpunch. Telling him not to counterpunch.
Every day our lives are changed by history.
We are one people, all of us.
Leaders, politics,
Nobody's ambition is what they blood.
I have fought very firmly.
natural occurrence, war, and the world economy.
I belong to everybody.
Telling him not to counterpunch. Telling him not to counterpunch.
Every day our lives are changed by history.
We are one people, all of us.
Leaders, politics,
Nobody's ambition is what they blood.
I have fought very firmly.
natural occurrence, war, and the world economy.
I belong to everybody, and I belong to nobody.
ATN covers it all on ATN Politics today.
People into the country illegally. That is amazing. You human
On the point of order,
Honorable
They are not picking our calls. They made up their minds.
so no agreement with the EU, but
Good morning and welcome to Sports Talk here on our Sports Personality on Atlantic Television Network. My name is Ekpo Temple, and on the show today we'll take a look at the one man who has done so well in recent time in the Nigeria Premier Football League, Amobi Chilavat Eziako, a lawyer, a sport enthusiast, and the Chief Executive Officer of Rangers International Football Club. He is the youngest African to be a football manager and youngest manager in the Nigerian Professional Football League to lift the Nigeria League. All this will be yours when we come back after now, and also to introduce our guest.
Telling him not to counterpunch. Telling him not to counterpunch.
Every day, our lives are changed by history,
We are one people, all of us.
leaders, politics,
Nobody's ambition is what the blood.
I have fought very firmly.
natural
All right, welcome back from that break. If you're just joining us, it's Sports Personality here on Atlantic Television Network. I have Miracle Nyekazi joins us this morning to look at this man, Amobi Chilavat Eziako. Miracle, you're welcome to the show.
Yeah, good morning, Port Harcourt. Good morning, Nigeria. It's always nice to be here to talk sports.
So nice to be here, and of course, we'll start with to inform you that the man that we're going to talk about is a man who, of course, has traversed, done so well in football, especially with the Nigerian Football League side, Enugu International, Rangers International of Enugu, and of course, we'll look at him and take a look at some of the stuff from his background. From his background, let's look at some of the things that he's been able to achieve in recent time, and I will try to also juxtapose how far he can go. It looks like he's 34 years old, a lawyer, and one who is from the East. Sometimes it's difficult to see, some of these. Look at a club manager who is this young. At 34, he's been able to achieve so much, in his career. And you look at his career, being a lawyer, being a football manager, being a CEO of a club, and you think that from his background, a lot would have played down in terms of where his milieu, where he's coming from.
Yes, definitely. We know that he's from the East, and he's a lawyer, an enthusiast, and a sport analyst as well. And as well as a player, because he made his MPFL debut just a few months ago when Coach Fidelity Lechiko featured him in a game against Kaduna United over there at the Amadou Bello Stadium in Kano United, yeah. So we know that we've seen all this he has achieved over a short period of time, and he's still young, and he's able to achieve more. So I say thumbs up to him.
Thumbs up to him, and of course, if you look at his activities in recent time, you will not argue that You know, he has really done so well for himself when it comes to getting things done, in also putting, you know, the club in terms of strategic ends and means. I want to believe that Amobi Ezeaku, you know, had really done so well. So like we talked about him, hailing from Enugu State, and he was, of course, he was the manager of the football club. But before even getting to be a CEO, you know, he played, like he talked about, he was a goalkeeper. He played, he was a goalkeeper in his playing days, and also participated in some of the FIFA series, you know, before he now went back to school. And you know, and so at amateur level, he has been playing football as a goalkeeper, maybe not as a player, but as a goalkeeper.
Yes, definitely. We know that he started his career as a goalkeeper. He played in amateur leagues over here in Nigeria and beyond. Unfortunately for him, he was not able to make it pro at that point. He decided to go back to school where he studied football management over there in Switzerland, University of Lucerne, Switzerland. And now he has become a football lawyer and a FIFA Pro. He has a FIFA Pro license where he represents players and coaches. And he also have an executive connections with FIFA, where he also stands as a FIFA Master Degree Administrator, where he is able to represent players also. And he has a UEFA degree holdership also, where he's able to stand in as an administrator to represent coaches. So I feel like it's a good one for him, what he has been doing so far for Enugu Rangers, because we know that he joined Enugu Rangers way back. He was there in 2016 when they won the league as well, and now he's still there as the general manager of the club and the CEO, and they just lifted the MPFA title with the help of Coach Fidelis Ilechukwu. So I say good one for him.
Good one for him. And of course, you know, before all the achievements this season, he was recently appointed the chief executive officer of Enugu Rangers, and before then he was the manager of the side. So one ordinary should think that you know, there are things that would have propelled it. Maybe he had achieved, from the last time they won the league was in 2016, you know, after many years, and then he elevated them from being a manager now, and he was elevated from being a manager to a CEO. And so what does that tell? That elevation had also brought about a lot that in the wood, of course, we're going to see. And when he was made the manager, you know, he pledged to make the club truly professional as he unveiled some strategic plan. And it looks like, as at the time he was made the manager, I mean the CEO, and now he has really strategized a lot. He has brought about strategic ends that we can now see in reality that Enugu Rangers has really been transformed, isn't it?
Yes, definitely. We saw that him going back to school to study football management has actually given him a lot of experience and a lot of detailed ideas on how to run a football club. Because when he was appointed general manager, he gave the club some strategic reasons and points, and some strategic ideas on how the club should be run from now on. And we've seen that so far during his term, he's been able to carry out those ideas so far. He's been able to make those detailed inclusions into the activities of the club, which has actually enhanced in how they've performed as a club in general in the MPFL. And we know that Enugu Rangers, they're a home-based club, in a home-based name, a big club in the Nigerian Professional Football League over the years. But before his reign, so far we've previously not seen so much of them in the Nigeria Professional Football League. But since his arrival at the club, we've seen some major changes that he's been able to make, and which has impacted in the club positively so far.
Impacted in the club positively, and I can tell you for sure that that impact will continue, you know, to blaze on. And we saw that very clearly. You know, he pledged that he said, I want to quote what he said, that we are going to achieve this through professionalism and become one of the most admired and followed club in Africa. The plans will be to achieve through standing. The club we call Rangers Trinity, you know, and then he said that the management has to think big globally and digitally to foster or strengthen what the club history and identity means to the people. When he said this, what do you think this means as part of the strategy? To think big and to think big and digitally to repositioning the club.
Yes, we know that with the kind of experience he's gained from the Western world in football management, we know our MPFL teams over here in Nigeria, the way they run the club sometimes cannot be termed as a professional way to run clubs. We see the way they sign players. Sometimes they don't even make initial fees, or they don't even, you see them going in a transfer window to sign about 11 or 14 players at once and offload as much as that as well. And those ways are not ways a professional club should be running their club. And we know that with the kind of experience he's gained working with the Western world, he has been able to pick out major some major characters and attributes in which clubs should be run, and we know that those things that he's imputed so far in the club has been what have made the club to be able to thrive this far. So I feel like him getting that experience abroad has actually done the club more good in the impact that they've been gaining so far in the MPFL. Impact
gained so far, and then he said that the first C, of course we'll talk about the 3 C's in the strategy. He said the first C stands for commercial development, and the S stands for sporting excellence, while the last C stands for community social impact. So let's look at commercial development. A lot of times it's been difficult for clubs to thrive commercially, and this he thinks he can bring to Rangers as the CEO of the team.
Yes, definitely he can do that, definitely, and he's been doing that so far. When you talk about commercial development, you talk about sponsors, the club being able to attract sponsors to the team. And so far, we've known that throughout his stay so far, they've been able to attract some minor sponsors. Because I wouldn't want to call them major sponsors, because we know how the league is being run right now. It's hard for clubs to attract sponsors, but he's been able to bring in some sponsors to the team, which have been able to help the team develop financially wise and upward, because we know that this season Rangers alone were one of the MPFL teams to be able to board their flights when going for away matches, and it actually made a lot of impact to the team, because we know that sometimes these players might be lagging because of the kind of experiences they have on road travels and why going to play away games. But we saw Rangers being one of those teams that were able to board their flights to go for those away games, and it actually impacted them positively. It actually impacted them positively in the sense that they had a lot of away points this season than they had in the previous seasons. And this was actually done because of the commercial sponsors and the sponsors he was able to bring into the team, which impacted them financially. Because without finances, I don't think a football club can be able to sustain and be run the way he's being run right now since he's staying in Rangers.
And of course, he said the S stands for sporting excellence, and some of the sporting excellence is playing good football, having good team setup, having good club licensing. Do you think they've been able to achieve that? Good stadia. I know that when they started the season, they were not playing at home, for a very lengthy time.
Yeah.
Before they were now recalled back after the renovation and touch on the stadium. So in terms of sporting excellence, will you say that Amobi Ezeaku has really helped Rangers, to have that sporting excellence?
Yes, definitely. I would say that he brought back that household Rangers that a lot of people have known over the years in the MPFL. That household name Rangers. Before then, before now, Rangers have not been. They've not been playing that football. A lot of people know, but this season, a lot of people sat back and went to the stadiums to watch Enugu Rangers play. We saw the game between Eyimba. We had about 30,000 fans in the stadium that day. I feel like that was one of the impacts that he brought into the team, and also making them to go back to their home stadium. It actually impacted them, the players and the team as a whole, positively. So that the sporting excellence that you're talking about, I feel like I will give him 75% for bringing back sporting excellence to the home team, or the biggest team in Enugu State, which is Rangers Football Club.
And of course, we hope that with his exploit with Rangers, it looks like it's going. And then the last C, the social impact. How far has he, with the commercial development and the sporting excellence we've seen, has it really brought about community social impact for the team?
Yes, definitely. some days ago, we saw Rangers Football Club participated in a novelty match for the late Nollywood actor, which we know as Mr. Ibu, as
Okay,
we call
John
him.
Okafor.
Yeah, John Okafor, the late Nollywood actor, God rest his soul. We saw Rangers Football Club participating in a novelty match with them, which can actually be known as a community or let's say social influence, because they've influenced that area as a whole, making them the biggest club in Enugu, and being able to participate in such games can be described as social influence. So I feel like, yes, he has actually brought a little bit of influence to the environment and to his state as a whole.
And of course, one thing if I talk about his, one thing that he's been able to use is the fact that as a legal practitioner, he has also maintained, that he can establish an under 13 and an under 17 team and upgrade the scouting department of the team. This area, I think some of these are long-term projects, some of these are long-term strategy. But the fact that he has them in his strategic plans, yeah. It doesn't matter how far the blueprint is clear that Amobi Ezeaku, have what it takes to do this. But why is it difficult for clubs to always have these cadet teams, like in Europe? Well, I mean, for him, yeah, I'm sure that part of the reason why he brought this at a strategic plan is because he has gone out there, he has seen how things are done in the Western world, and hoping that he can come back. How easy or difficult will it be for him to, build an academy that the club can draw talent from?
Oh, I would say, personally, I would say that it's because of the lack of finance. Because we've seen some MPFL teams struggle to finance them. Their major teams or their A teams, like the senior teams, they've been struggling to finance senior teams. Whereby when you struggle to finance your senior teams, how do you run a cadet team or a youth team? It's very difficult. When you don't have the finance to be able to pay your players some certain bonuses and to be able to carry out some certain, will I say, some certain transactions in the team by having being able to finance your what do they call it right now, your to and fro movements, being able to finance your movements when playing, going to play away games, being able to finance your trips when playing on the continent as well, and being able to pay your players bonuses and your coaching staff bonuses is very difficult. So I feel like finance have played a major role in the clubs not being able to have those cadet teams. I feel like if some sponsors are being attracted to the team, you have some major sponsors being able to bring out the money to finance the team. No. Definitely, a lot of teams in the MPFL will be able to bring those cadet teams. And we've seen so far, some teams in Nigeria as well do have those cadet teams because of the finances they've been able to manage. Teams like Remo Stars, they have those youth teams as well. Teams like Rivers United as well have those youth teams. But some major teams like Rangers have not been able to have those youth teams. But I feel like with his stay now and with his experience in the Western world, he can be able to bring back that kind of youth team back to the club.
And then one thing we can also talk about is, how far, sometimes when they come in, they achieve the backing of the state government in terms of really partnering with them to achieve some of this blueprint and strategy that he has outlined. How far has he gone?
Yeah, personally for me, I don't know how far if he's been able to convince or he's been.
I think that the governor is a very strong supporter of the team, and through Amobi's influence, it looks like people just want to invest where something is working.
Yeah.
And I mean, he said it when they were, on Monday when they were parading, when they brought the trophy home and they paraded. The governor was there, a lot of persons to welcome them, and the governor was also there live in their last game. So it looks like the state government are also, they own the club, and so they are topmost sponsors when it comes to helping Amobi Ezeaku to achieve these long-term objectives.
Yeah, if that is the case, I would say a good one to him. I would say a good one to him, as well as the Minister of Sports in the state, because being able to convince a certain body to bring out finance to sponsor the team is very, very difficult, because we know how things are being run right here in Nigeria. A lot of states governors are not sports-loving governors,
yeah.
So they won't be able or be willing to bring out the finance. Instead, they want to put that money elsewhere. So him being able to convince the state governor, the governor of Enugu State, to impute his finances in the team is a good one for him.
Very good one for him, and let's see how far he can go with some of these. And one thing very important is that he will see a man who is very determined, you know, to achieving excellence when it comes to the global scene. And if you're just joining us, we have been looking at Amobi Ezeaku. He's our sports personality for today on Atlantic Television Network, and we are straying some of the things that he's been able to achieve in recent time. Of course, his prominence emanates from being the CEO, that is Chief Executive Officer of Rangers International of Enugu, a football club that just won the Nigeria Premier Football League. And we're looking at some of the strides, some of his blueprint, and some of the strategies that he has outlined, you know, to getting to this level. We're going on a short break now. When we come back, we'll talk more about Amobi Ezeaku.
Telling him not to counterpunch. Telling him not to counterpunch. Telling him not to counterpunch.
Every day, our lives are changed by history.
We are one people, all of us.
Leaders, politics,
Nobody's ambition is what's the blood.
I have fought a very firmly.
natural occurrence, war, and the world economy.
I belong to everybody, and I belong to nobody.
ATN covers it all on ATN Politics today.
People into the country illegally. That is amazing.
Honorable
You human
On the point of order.
Honorable
You're a human
On the point of
on them. They are not picking our calls. They made up their mind.
So no agreement with the EU, but
All right, welcome back from that break. If you're just joining us, it's Sports Personality here on Atlantic Television Network, and we are thrilling the man Amobi Chilevat Eziako, the CEO of Rangers International of Enugu State, the winners of the just concluded Nigeria Premier Football League. I say have miracle here, and of course we are doing this together this Saturday morning. Earlier we talked about his background, his milieu, we talked about his influences, and we talked about you know, the character that he has built in the team. Eziako is basically known for his exploit with Enugu Rangers. He also was a player, which of course we're going to talk about his playing career later. We talked about this, he was a goalkeeper and all that, and we'll look at how he was able to marry his playing career and then his managerial activities in the Nigeria Premier Football League. Miracle, let's go back to discussion. Of course, the one area we need to look at again is his debut with, you know, with Enugu Rangers. It is difficult, really difficult to see a club administrator, you know, playing football. Yes, we saw something similar in Bender Insurance, or at Bender Insurance, when we saw the deputy governor, you know, also Shaibu, also trying to be part of the team. Sometimes he played, you know, but I do not know if there was any recorded, you know, any official match that he played with the side. I don't think there was any, you know. So Eziako is the first CEO of a team in the Nigeria Premier Football League at 34 that also had his debut. And he had his debut, you know, giving number 9 jersey, played for against Nada Tornadoes in that particular encounter. And it looks like that was the beginning of his playing. But what do you make of this? How easy or difficult was it for him to marry his playing career with Enugu Rangers, and then the fact that he needs to do some administrative duties?
Yes, it's not been that hard for him, in the sense that he's been managing the off-pitch activities, and he's a lover of the club already. And he described the feeling as indescribable, that the feeling is what he cannot describe, that he's been wanting for this to happen, and that he's happy that the coach believed in him and trusted him to be able to partake in such a game. The coach, Fidelis Ilechukwu, for giving him the opportunity, that the club means a lot to him. for him to be able to play for this club that he loves. So I feel like it's no big deal because he's been able to manage the off-field activities well. There's not been any distraction so far, and he's just played a few games. Not that he's a major player in the team that plays every game. No, he played a few games so far for the team. So I feel like it's not a hard thing for him to be able to mix the two activities together. So I feel like, yes, he did well for himself, and it's always nice for the club to give someone, a club-loving person like him, the opportunity to showcase his activities. In as much as he didn't go pro, it doesn't mean that he can't still go pro at this point. So I feel like it's a good one for him.
But at 34, in club football, generally, it looks like your career is gradually dwindling.
Yes.
And to get that trust from the coach to feature him in some of those important games, it tells how good he might be. In one of the interviews, like he said that he has been training with the team. Yeah. So what does that tell about cordial relationship? Amobe Ezeaku isn't just a CEO. There's, like he said, there is this penchant he shares with the club. He's not just an appointee of the government. Yeah. You know, he shares a strong penchant with the club, and that would have also, you know, brought about the love. And when you love a team and the coach feels that you love a team, you can play. I mean, maybe just we can feature in one of the games, and it was officially I'm sure it wasn't just a one-off thing. It was a process of registering him officially in the league. Because if he was not registered, there's no way he could have played.
Yes. You know, when we heard about when a lot of teams heard about him playing, it raised a lot of eyebrows. That how can a club manager be able to partake in the squad, in the match day squad of the game that particular day. A lot of teams were surprised, but unfortunately for them, it happened that day, and we saw he came off the bench that day. He was able to make his debut, and he was able to perform brilliantly, and they also won the game that day, so it was all good rosy for them that day. Maybe if they would have lost, a lot of bad news and information would have come out from him representing them, but unfortunately for him, they won that day, and it was all rosy for them, and so far he's been doing well for himself, both on the pitch and off the pitch.
Both on the pitch and off the pitch, and is there lessons that, you know, other managers should learn from him? Because I saw the way, look at the way. This is not just about government sponsoring, having a blueprint. This is beyond having a blueprint and winning the league. The attributes of the club resides in the acumen of Ezeaku and his supporters and his team of experts who have been working, you know, in the club, and that has elevated the side, you know, to victory. I think that maybe managers will have to go one step further. You know, when he was asked how he was able to achieve the new Ranger, he said it was derived from the strategy that he built, the passion that he has for the club, and the fact that he wanted the players to be cared for. So these three, outlined rules emanated to the success that we have seen him deliver at the Rangers.
Yes, definitely. When he was asked as well, he was able to tell us that he's adored the game all his life, that he's played the game all his life, and the coaching crew as well has been able to condition him for this moment, meaning that he's been doing a lot of backroom jobs with the coaching crew, training with them as well, and they've been able to condition him, meaning that they've been able to tell him some right steps and some right way to go into the game that day. And we've seen that, yes, he's done well so far, and he's been able to make it through, and it's a good one for him. And I want to urge a lot of clubs in the MPFL that when appointing a general manager or a CEO of a club, they should be able to appoint the right man, a man that loves the club especially, and a man that knows the game, and a man that can be able to sacrifice a lot for the club. And we've seen that Amobe Ezeaku has been able to do that throughout his reign. He's been able to sacrifice for the club, and as well working for other players off the pitch as well, not just Rangers international players. We saw that he was able to handle the case of an MPFL player that was wrongly owed and sidelined from his team, Kano Pillars, Bassi, a player, Bassi, which was wrongly owed, and he's been able to have a compensation of over 11.8 million naira for that player for being wrongly owed and sidelined by his team. And he also represented an under-17 player as well which he also collected a lot of compensation for him. So he's been able to do a lot for the club and for the state and for the MPF as a whole, representing a lot of players in the MPFL and representing a lot of players in Enugu Rangers as well. So it's a very, very good one for him. And a lot of teams in the MPFL should learn from Amobi Ezeaku and the way he has been able to run and manage Enugu Rangers.
What would have been the case if Enugu Rangers had not won? Of course, they won the league after 2006-16, and with him becoming the CEO with all that they've invested, you know. But let's envisage what would have been the case if they had not won. Do you think that, I mean, that would have dampened morale or dampened the structure that they built for next season?
No, no, definitely not. Definitely not. We know that it's a process. So far, he's been able to give them, outline his rules and outline his measures on how the club should be run. And we've seen that he's been doing that step by step. This their league didn't just come as a one-time thing. They've been able to do a lot of backroom jobs, and they've been taking up some measures step by step, which have been impacting the team. So I feel like even if they would have not won the league this season, definitely in the nearest future, they'll be able to win the MPFL season.
So this quick success, you think that will spoil them? Or we've seen a lot of time. It's difficult to get to win. The MPFL is so difficult that it's difficult to win back to back. And Enugu Rangers is the first team in a long while to win a 38-game league, you know, here. And does that tell us any difference?
Yes, definitely, yes. To be able to win and grind out a result in a 38-game league is not an easy thing for an MPFL team. And we saw that they were able to gain a lot of points away from home this season, which actually spawned them to win the league this season. They were able to grind out a lot of results both at home and away from home. And a lot of fans were able to turn up for them away from home as well. So definitely, yes, I see them carrying this on next season with the likes of Fidelis Ilechukwu still remaining as the coach of the club, and Amobi Ezeaku as the general manager. I still see them doing good things going forward, except maybe, just maybe, he will leave the club, and maybe the success rate of the club might reduce. But for now, I still see them doing good things.
So are you saying that if he leaves the club today, that we're going to see a dwindle in the fortunes of Enugu Rangers?
Definitely, definitely. They'll be able to struggle a little bit, because we saw that he's brought a lot of success back to the club, with the kind of managerial strategies that he's brought back to the club, which has actually impacted the club positively. And so far, he's been doing well for himself also and for the players of the club. And if the club change management at this point in time, it is going to definitely affect them. So I feel like if he leaves, it will affect them.
He's now a national hero, winning the first manager at 34 to win a 38, or a league with Nigeria Premier Football League side. And Amobi Ezeaku did it with Rangers International of Enugu State. They played 38 games, won 21, drew 7, and lost 10. In the course of the season, scored 56 goals and conceded 33 goals, and a goal difference of 23, and had 70 points, at the end of the season. This is a massive landmark for the team. And of course, when you look at the attraction that he has, I was thinking that when Rivers United won the league, we're going to see the management and come to the city, bubble. Fans will follow, but that was not to be seen. It looks like it's something that was done, shredded in secrecy. But in Enugu State, on Monday, when they lifted the trophy there at the New George Stadium, they came back home and we saw the galore. We saw the way the fans were treated. We saw that was an announcement. The town was rocky. People knew that the champions have arrived, and they did what we have been seeing in Western Climes. That was a formal unveiling and the presentation of the trophy, and the fans' fanfare.
Yes, definitely. That's definitely the impact of having a general manager like Ezeaku, Amobi Ezeaku. Is definitely his impact, because of the kind of experience he's gained from the Western world. He's been able to bring back some major characters that he's been able to see how things are being run right there. He's been able to bring back and impede them into the Enugu Rangers team. Having a parade and trophy parade is a good one for the team and for the fans. We know that some teams are not being able to, after they've been given their prize money, they just go back into their shell and start preparing for the next season. But we'll be able to see what they've done for the fans and for the team right there in Enugu State is a good one for them.
And then they also within the week met with the former players of the team that are now legends. That's the Fokala, you know, some of the big names that that did so well with Rangers. Don't forget that Rangers have won the league now for a record, you know, 8th time, you know, just one little below Eyimba Football Club that have won it for, you know, for a record 9 times. And so it looks like when it comes to sporting excellence, like we talked about earlier, the Enugu Rangers had done, and to know that the man who is now the aim of affair, you know, is Ezako, with his acumen, with his personality. Maybe he can build on more. But the question now is, to what level, to what extent are we going to see this competition from Enugu Rangers?
Personally, for me, I want to see them thrive, especially in the CAF Champions League they'll be participating in next season, because a lot of teams from the MPFL has gone into the CAF Champions League and they've fumbled over the years. But personally, I want to see Enugu Rangers thrive, even if they don't retain their title in the MPFL next season. But I want to see them at least reach the quarterfinal or the semi-final stages of the CAF Champions League, and not just playing in the preliminary stages and not even participating in the group stage. I want to see them thrive in the CAF Champions League, and I feel like if they are able to hold their own and make some strategic plans ahead of the CAF Champions League and ahead of the new season, because the start of the new season has already been announced for I think the 30th of August, if I'm not mistaken. 31st of August for next season, MPFL season. So if they can be able to plan ahead of time and plan for the CAF Champions League as well, I see them reaching great heights for next season.
And then in summary, let's get to hear from you what you think of his leadership skills. Yeah,
he's been able to rally around and make everybody to stand as a whole, as a team, not just individually, but as a team, which is very, very important. And that has been one of the major reasons they've been able to grind that result and work hand in hand and be able to achieve their goal, which they achieved this season by winning the MPFL season. Because he's still a young player, he's been able to as well hit heads with players and give them some inspirational talks and give them some inspirational reasons why they should be able to connect with each other, not just on the pitch, but off the pitch as well. We saw how they even interacted with the Plateau United players on their way to their away game.
Their club.
You saw how they interacted. Some clubs would have just passed and just went, but we've been seeing how they've been interacting both with the opposition team, which I feel like that's the input of Amobi Ezeaku, and I feel like that is he has a good managerial and a good leadership quality.
In terms of integrity and ethics, what lessons are there for his colleagues who are also CEOs and managers of various clubs in the league?
Yeah, I feel like a lot of CEOs and managers, they are just there because of the monetary input of being a CEO or being a general manager of a club. They are not there for the general interest of the club on how the club should grow and should perform when it comes to playing football. They are just there because of what they will gain from the club. I feel like a lot of them should go back and do some training, some FIFA licensing training and football managerial training, which actually give them the experience on how to manage and run the affairs of a football club. Because a lot of managers and CEOs of our MPFL clubs are not actually well trained in how to run football clubs. They don't actually have that degree in football management, and they're not actually sports-loving persons. But because of the attributes that he's gained abroad, and actually that he's a sport-loving person, he's been able to manage and run the affairs of the club strategically wise, and he's been able to achieve a lot. So I feel like those managers and leaders should learn a lot from him, being able to manage this club and love the club, not just being there just because of what they will gain from the club.
And that's to you, Miracle Inyekazi, for giving us those in-depth analysis and also helping us to profile that man, Amobi Chilivat Ezeakola. And of course, history continue to reckon, and his name should be written in the annals of the club there, Rangers International, because when you win a league with a team, it becomes an eternal, something that will stay for a very long time. Generations from generations will continue to, reckon with his side. And of course, it looks like Enugu Rangers and Eyimba, as stands now, maybe we Kano Pillars that have the highest fan base in the country.
Yes, definitely. We saw the kind of crowd they were able to pull out this past season. A lot of Enugu Rangers fans were able to come back and love their clubs because of the success that he's brought back to the club. So definitely yes.
All right, many thanks to you out there, for viewer, for being part of the conversation here this morning on Atlantic Television Network. It is sports personality who profiled that man, Amobi Chilivat Ezeako, the Chief Executive Officer of Enugu, Rangers International of Enugu State. And what more can we say? We hope that his strides will continue to speak for him in the coming days. But for right now, he's still celebrating, or in the mood of celebration, after lifting the 8th Nigeria Premier Football League trophy. This is why we call it a short. We'll be back next week for more interesting episode here on Atlantic Television Network. Ekpo Temple is my name. Many thanks to the MCRO, many thanks to the cameraman for putting this together.